Hello everybody, welcome to the sportiest stream. We've got some great Rocket League action for you guys here tonight. Here on this stream, we've got two matches, two best of fives coming up, but from very different leagues. We're starting with the Rocket League Splash Series, their Cyclone Cup matchup, 0-1, taking on Next2Nu Breakers. After that, we'll have Team Ignition versus New Age Demon Hounds in the lower bracket of the Blackline Championship Series Contenders Series. But for now, we've got our Splash Series matchup. This one was booked just earlier today, so I've had some time trying to get all the pieces together here, but I'm very excited for this matchup. 0-1, Next2Nu Breakers. Yes, this is part of the Cyclone Cup, the highest division in the Rocket League Splash Series this season, and I think it's so interesting about this matchup is Next2Nu Breakers. You guys will recognize that is the team that did win the Proving Grounds, almost at the Cyclone Cup, the Proving Grounds. When we last had them here for Season 5, it was on this stream, saw them beat the Falcons, which are now Next2Nu Esports. Breakers actually with a record of 1-1 right now. Their most recent win coming against Vicors, their loss against Lotus 8, but don't let that deter you. This team took Lotus 8 to the 2-game 5. Lotus 8 had a tough time. They said they've mentioned it on the stream, like the matches they've had this season have not been easy. They've had to work for it. They've had to work for it a lot, but so far they've been able to pull through. It's actually also the only loss that Next2Nu, that 0-1 have, is against Lotus 8. That was a field sweep, but that was more recently. So, that as you will. Again, just trying to get things sorted out, ready to go here. 0-1, taking on Next2Nu, two orgs. Pretty interesting matchup, that's for sure, because you will recognize this 0-1 roster from last season. They were known as Rift Esports. It was on a different org, so again, they are no strangers to the Rocket League Splash Series. They've been here before, again, last season on Rift in the Tsunami Cup. They were one of the best teams in that tournament, but they could not put it all together by the end of that season. They had a record of 3-3 and weren't looking all that amazing. They started off so well as with two straight wins, but yeah, after that they did struggle and they ended up losing the quarterfinals to Fifth Corner Esports. So again, that Rift Esports side back in last season, it's one of those big what ifs. You know, what if they didn't play Fifth Corner Esports that early on? Because Fifth Corner were by far, in a way, the best team in that in the Tsunami Cup last season. It would have definitely been a Cyclone Cup team this season. You know, the question is kind of what would have happened had maybe 0-1 not met them so early on in that bracket. Who knows? What I can say is they deserve their spot in the Cyclone Cup. And so does Next2Nu. Again, we're 1-1. Their loss being a field sweep to Lotus 8. Their win being against Phoenix United Full Power the week before. So, again, 1-1 records about these teams actually going into week 4. And it's a little weird, but there are buys in the Cyclone Cup due to the number of teams being less than 16. Each team playing has a 1 week bye at some point in their season. Both these sides, definitely a lot to play for, and how big this matchup is. Just waiting on some final confirmation for these players, get in as soon as we can. Again, this is our first match tonight. We'll have one later on tonight. See for the Blackline Contenders Series. That's actually going to be an elimination matchup in the lower bracket, so it'll be exciting once we get to see it. But again, for now, we got 0-1 and Next2Nu Breakers. Breakers are the team that's expected to take this series, but against 0-1, again at this level, you can generally predict matches, but that's what makes these upsets in the Cyclone Cup all that more impressive, is because at this level, teams are usually split up by a lot more points in MMR. So upsets are not as easy, but when they do happen, they're quite monumental. About these sides, well, the playoffs is almost certainly is going to be guaranteed, because again, as long as all teams in this group go to the playoff bracket, seeding is going to matter. You don't want to be one of those low seeds, and it's already good amount of teams that have not had good seasons so far. You don't want to be a part of any of that, and there are some clear favorites in this tournament. Leading the charge, like Lotus 8, Nirvana, NoFF, Midwest Mafia Black is having a pretty good start to the season. Lotus 8 Esports, obviously, doing well. Artifice, who joined in, have also had a very good season. There's, again, not a ton of teams in this bracket. All pretty solid, though. And there are definitely some clear front runners, and either of these sides are kind of in the middle. These two teams are kind of in the middle of that. Who's going to do well? One of them, at least one of them's gotta have a good season, right? You'd think so, at least, and a matchup like this will definitely be telling. for that. And just getting things sorted out here for matchup here, but the Rocket League Splash Series Season 5, sponsored by GamersOn.tv, Invisible Entertainment, Latin 7 Gaming, Henny Scarf, Getting Purchase and Resell, and Claim to Fame. Cyclone Cup, brought to you live. This match, like the next one that we're going to have after this for Blackline, is a best of 5, so I win just 3 games to move on. Or, move on is not really the right way to say it. 3 games to take the series, and the next one actually is going to be 3 games to move on and not be eliminated. Again, this is regular season, so for these teams, a loss here it will make a difference for their rankings, but it won't make a difference otherwise in how they play. Definitely an important matchup here, as waiting on both these teams to join. Zero2One, Next2Nu Breakers, and I do find it funny that both of them have the 2 in the very middle of their name. I guess that's a very fun coincidence. I'm surprised I didn't even mention it on my post on my announcement post about the joke there. I'm surprised I didn't make that joke. Probably should have, but now again, just getting these teams in. Next2Nu Breakers. I remember Jackson's going to be an interesting player to look at, since he was the MVP for them when they did win that Proving Grounds tournament. He was again one of those solid players, and this team they only have 3 players. Zero2One actually have 5 different players, but their starting roster is Gets Nam Bio. So see if those are the players here tonight. Or Zero2One, I expect it to be, but you have subs again, and if need be. As actually they are gonna have one of they're gonna have Retro and Destiny. They're gonna have their 2 subs actually fill in here, so it's gonna be Retro Steel and Destiny joining in instead of Nam and Bio. So Zero2One with a different roster tonight. Again, on the other side, Next2Nu with their roster of Jackson, Siege, and Yukon. Again, you're gonna see a lot of Jackson. He was a player that stepped up for them when it came to winning the whole tournament. So I expect that he's still gonna be a pretty major player for them in this matchup. But against Zero2One, excited to see how this will go. Again, we got a good amount of time just to let these teams file in when they need to. In a very fun matchup. I'm excited to see how this will work. As again, Zero2One, Next2Nu Breakers, 2 orgs as well. Again, but what's crazy is I didn't even know Zero2One was an org, and then I checked and I was like, oh yeah, it is an org. I don't know why, but Zero2One seems like the most team name, like non-org team name ever. But I guess we also have a team in this tournament known as New FF. So maybe that's just me. But Zero2One's a pretty good sized org as well. I think this team's been on this roster for a little bit. Obviously, they weren't on it last season when they were on Rift Esports, but after that they've joined, and I think they're also in the Masters series for Blackline, and they're doing pretty well there. They're in that final bracket. So Zero2One, again, a solid team. You definitely can't doubt them. It's again, they're one of the few teams in this tournament that are also in the Blackline Championship Series, Masters Series. Another one being Midwest Mafia Black, Gondola Flight Black in that Masters Series. Again, there's some decent correlation between some of these top teams playing in Blackline. No, the Tsunami Cup has a couple others, like Aura is in there, Affinity Reborn is also in Blackline. There's a ton of teams in this tournament, but they're also in the Blackline Championship Series, which is the higher ranked teams. But for now, I'm just gonna wait until these teams are fully in the lobby. Again, Zero2One versus the Breakers. As again, I do apologize for the slight delay. I think the Breakers are having some issues getting all their players in the lobby, but they should be here any moment. Again, my apologies, but we should be good to go as soon as we can. So hopefully all of you are excited as excited as I am for this series. That prediction poll says they've got a lot of votes for Next2Nu, so not too surprising. I think they are. Again, I think they are the favorites in this matchup. At least I would consider them the team that's more likely to win this series. But it's no easy call when both these teams have 1-1 records, and we're only in week 4. A lot more of the season to go. Again, their only losses being to Lotus 8, which, well, is by far and away considered the best team in this tournament. So, not too surprising to see That's their own loss. Again, I'm surprised. Again, I was impressed with the Breakers in week 1 when they went and took Lotus 8 to game 5. Solid team. Again, the fact that they're taking Lotus 8 to game 5, I think that I don't know if we're going to see any other team in this tournament do very easily. We might see the Lotus 8 Zenith also do that. Lotus 8 Zenith. They're not called Zenith anymore. They're called Nirvana. Lotus 8 Nirvana do that. Might see them take, you know, any these matches to game 5. Take that match to game 5 against Lotus 8. But again, impressive nonetheless. For Next2Nu Breakers, a very solid side. Again, we are still waiting on them. Hopefully they'll be here any moment. Again, apologies for the plays here. I'm very surprised. Again, I don't know what's happening there at the Next2Nu. Surprised they're late because they generally aren't late. But I don't know them well enough to, I guess, say anything about it. I'm just waiting on them here as again, they're having, I think, some issues joining the lobby here. We're gonna get them in any moment here, but it does turn out, I think I don't know if they thought they were making the lobby or if they thought, or if they didn't know, but I'm definitely making the lobby here. We got Zero2One again waiting right now, as we'll get Next2Nu in any moment. As again, we'll get them in any moment here. There we go. We fixed it. Yeah, they had the wrong, they sent the wrong info. They accidentally okay. They accidentally used a 0 instead of an O. Whoopsies. We'll get them in here. Yes, Next2Nu. Whoops, accidentally misclicks for whatever reason, but we'll get them in anyways. Don't worry about it, guys. Fortunately, we fixed the issue. Just turns out they were ready all the time. I knew they were ready. I just didn't know what was happening. I thought for a second maybe it would be a bathroom break. That happens all the time on this stream, but we'll get these guys in. I know Zero2One also need a second just to get things sorted out, so we'll get everybody in here. As again, unfortunately, a little delay, but it actually is pretty funny. We'll get them in anyways here. Zero2One versus Next2Nu Breakers. The matchup, the teams with the 2 in their name. We'll see where that 2 will be placed in their record. Both teams 1-1 in a best-of-5 series. Zero2One on the blue, Next2Nu Breakers on the orange. And a best-of-5 series to determine who will go 2-1 and who will go 1-2. Zero2One. Already a great start for them, but a save from Jackson. Early offensive chances falling through for the Zero2One side. Their first time on this stream, actually. We've seen the Breakers before when they won that Proving Grounds tournament in a clutch Game 5 victory over what is now Next2Nu Esports in this tournament. That esports team, though, is having some issues. I believe their record is 0-3 right now. Next2Nu Breakers definitely want to be that better team. They've generally been that better team between the 2 of them. Zero2One's going to be a good test for this Next2Nu side, especially given their only loss having been against Lotus 8, and their only win having been a forfeit win, so against the Rickrollers. So, you know, for them, it's they still haven't been able to really prove themselves here in the Cyclone Cup. It feels like for a lot of teams, they're still unproven in this tournament. Zero2One could be, you know, verified much the same way. Their only win was a forfeit win over PXU Fultar, who are forfeited out of the season. So, again, they are also trying to prove a lot here in this matchup, but I think specifically they're trying to prove to themselves that that Lotus 8 match they had last week where they got swept against Lotus 8 was a bit of a fluke, was one that they can rebound from. Before I've been interested in seeing just how slow these teams are playing. No one's taking any major chances, but that net's wide open, and that's going to be an own goal. Siege will get credit for it, but it's Zero2One who will put it in their own net. Again, this game has kind of meandered its way slowly but surely, but it's Next2Nu who have that pressure. Seem to do a little bit of controlling the ball right now. As you saw that touch there from Siege, going into his own goal. An unfortunate, sorry, not Siege, from I believe Retro on Zero2One. An unfortunate break for Next2Nu Breakers, but it's one that will favor them. They're not complaining. Now looking for number 2. Well, will be saved away here by Zero2One as Next2Nu Breakers needing to wait upfield. The chip up. Retro. Ooh, he's missed this one, and it's the Breakers with some open field, but nobody went to it. Yukon and a demo. This net's open. Destiny to take it, and he's hit the post. A wide open shot, and that it doesn't get much easier than that for Zero2One. Still, they have offense, but they won't get a goal from it. Breakers being saved a little bit here by that bad shot there from Destiny. You really think with that open, even with the shot as tough as it is, those are ones you should be scoring. Yeah, the pressure just got to him there. Whatever it is, the Breakers are still going to lead this game, and again, and I don't think it's really been them who've been able to make the difference. It's just been both these teams have waited a lot. This feels like a true game one. Neither team really feels awake or real ready for the matchup. Someone's got to be able to step up here, and maybe it's Yukon, because he's looking for Siege in the midfield, but a demo will send that play away. Jackson faked out, gets dunked by Yukon. Next2Nu Breakers. Some space upfield, that's open, and Siege will take it. His second of the game, and the Breakers score again. 0-1, caught on the overcommit, and it's Destiny rocked out of the way by Jackson. And so far, well, it has not been all that interesting of a game one for either side. Neither of them really trying to play all too aggressively. The Breakers are just a little bit better, catching 0-1 on some of these fast breaks. Really prioritizing that last defender on 0-1 as kind of that player to really focus on. Once they remove them, 0-1's in a tougher position as now they'll go for it themselves. Bump on Siege, great save anyways. Destiny nearly clearing away for what would have been a 0-1 goal this game. Next2Nu Breakers have to be careful because those demo players are not exclusively theirs. 0-1 doing them as well, and they've had some success. You saw that last play nearly go in for them. Nearly won't be close enough. As time runs out in game one, you're still wondering if 0-1 can get a goal on the board. I expect that they will at least some point this game, but again, so far it just feels like that offense of theirs has been a little bit slow, but that's a great shot from Destiny. That will open up the offense for them and open up the score sheet for 0-1 as that's that bump in the first place. Then he just doinks it past Yukon. Next2Nu Breakers, I think they expected the first challenge to be good enough for them. But they wouldn't be able to clear the space away. It's the 0-1 side who will start the series off, or really start this, they're scoring off in this game here. Breakers got to be careful because 0-1, they start to get a little more confident because of it, but maybe a little too confident because Jackson's got a shot and no blue cars are between him. Next2Nu Breakers with a gift of a play here because, I mean, Destiny and Getz just not on the same page. Getz is expecting this play to be a lot more controlled. Destiny just shoots it at the net from far out. 0-1, give away that chance a little too quickly, and it's Jackson, the Proving Grounds MVP, will have no issue putting that shot in the back of the net. As Siege now, flip reset, looking for a play of his own. It is the Breakers. Will keep it away. 0-1, still attacking. Gets, flip reset, looking for the nets, but it will be Jackson to save. It will be 0-1 who will once again give the ball away. A free shot for Yukon. Off the crossbar follow-up. Saved by Getz, but nearly goal for Next2Nu Breakers. And you're seeing 0-1 here consistently overcommit to that midfield. Just are far too careless with the ball once they do that. You can overcommit safely in this game mode, but it requires you not to give the ball away too quickly. You're just seeing the Breakers, the 0-1 side, just do that too often. And while the pressure's on them, at this point for them, game one's over. You just look to try to play consistently. See what you can do going into game number 2, because right now, it is the Breakers who will start the series off in their favor. 0-1. Just didn't have a strong enough midfield here to start off this matchup. And it will be that. Next2Nu Breakers with game number 1 in this series. 0-1, again, I've just mentioned just far too many overcommits for this side. You just see them, they push everybody up. They're just not on the same page. That first player and that last one need to know what they're doing. At least in coordination with each other. As we'll go into as we're going to go straight to game number 2, Next2Nu Breakers, looking to continue what they've done so far. Again, it's just been very simple, very hesitant, it feels, from both these sides. Neither of them really pushing all that much. I mean, you get the sense of respect from both these teams, which at this level you have to have, but I think these teams are actually giving each other a little too much respect. I want to see a little bit more aggression, a little more push from these sides, especially from Zero2One. They're the ones on the back foot, so it's really up to them to make those adjustments where they see fit. A good time to do that. As we're going to game number 2. The Breakers have, again, taken game 1, but 0-1. Again, as I said, I want to see them take a few more risks, take a few more chances in this series. They aren't going to win if you play safe, that's for sure. There's just far too many good teams in this tournament, where if you wait and let them play their game, they will have no issues with beating you. And 0-1, I can't let the Breakers do it, because this is definitely one of those teams where if once they start to get things going, they're not going to be easy to stop. Doesn't help with the fact, again, that 0-1 is playing with Retro and Destiny, who I believe are their substitutes. Breakers, they don't care who's playing on that field. They're going to play that same way. They're going to, make them play a little bit more aggressively, take more chances. 0-1, it's all about risk management for them. When can you go? When can you not go? When can you send more people up on offense? When can't you? They have not been able to get the right decisions in place, but players as intelligent as they are, they'll find something that will work. Will they find it soon? Yukon nearly got that flip reset. This Gets now with the air dribble, trying to get the flip reset past Siege. Jackson already up with it. Retro's gonna get there, but he's still Next2Nu on the ball. Yukon to shoot. Destiny to save. Siege to put it in, but Destiny will be there and will beat him in the play. 0-1. We'll continue to wait for this Next2Nu Breakers pressure. Great dunk in the midfield though, and it's Retro off the back of the offensive wall who'll not be able to make contact with it. Either will Gets as he's faked by Siege. The Breakers, they're starting to mix a few changes in here. Maybe a few fakes, maybe a few plays where they get 0-1. Maybe a little bit too jumpy. Again, so far as for 0-1, it's been slow progress. You have to rely a lot on their defense to really keep these games close, because if they don't, this is where the Next2Nu can really take advantage. They're definitely a team that's a little bit faster. You can see it's a little bit more willing to play with speed. 0-1, not so much. They're trying to take things slow, one step at a time, but you're just seeing it not work for them. As Siege off the cusp-bar. And it's Next2Nu Breakers who score first once again. Just an infill patch from Jackson. Gets frozen on the goal line, and for Siege, directly onto it. As again, I mentioned the Breakers already. Our team is a lot more faster when it comes to their play. 0-1 is making progress far too slowly. I have to be careful, because this kind of progress, this slow movement, is one that is going to be tough to sustain. You gotta be able to have a lights out defense to keep it going. You're seeing 0-1 get beat here far too many times for that to be viable. As now Jackson double tap, stopped by Destiny, but Breakers still attack. Yukon dunk there. Oh, we'll put it across the net, but nobody from the Breakers ready to answer him. And we'll be 0-1 to clear the ball. As Siege, the flick, still has it as Siege. It still has it as Siege. He's taking this down the field. Some great one-man army work kind of here. And now he's found Yukon. That shot won't mean much of anything. Still, that play from Siege to even make it happen, quite extraordinary. I mean, you just don't see people do that at this rank anymore. It's so tough, because defense has gotten so good to just be able to do solo play to find space. Teams are not willing to give it to you here very easily. 0-1, maybe their chance on offense to answer, but it will be a shot just wide by Yukon, and by Retro, and Yukon will go to the net. Oh, what a turnaround! The Breakers will double their lead as Yukon, without hesitation, just goes to goal, and will be too slow to catch up. And it's the Breakers catching 0-1 on these overcommits in the midfield. 0-1 just not recognizing quickly enough how fast the Breakers can transition. You see an example of it there from Yukon. This team's quality in the Breakers, one of the best in this league. And for 0-1, unfortunately for them, they're having an issue keeping up. While there may not be that many goals this series, There's far less of them are coming from 0-1. There's maybe another chance here. Siege will give the ball away. Great flick. Gets his going to pre-jump him to that one. As he'll follow through on the challenge, but the breaker's still hold. Destiny to clear. Jackson won't get it. Destiny now. Flip reset. Looking to continue on the offense. And a bump on Siege will give 0-1 the space they need on offense to make things work, although not for long with that dunk. Siege up is Jackson, the drop down retro dunks in there, but it will be high and wide. Next2Nu Breakers don't need another goal. At this point with how they're playing, it might as well be that way. Now 0-1, only one goal so far in the series. They scored once last game, and they'll try to score here, but just aren't breaking through. We're seeing a lot more of a breakout from 0-1 in this game, a little bit more willingness to play the offense. Still, it's the same issue. They're just far too conservative. Taking things far too slowly to really be viable against the Breakers, who are willing to play a little bit faster, a little bit better, and take match point with them as Siege with one more goal just to secure game 2. 0-1. The record might be 1-2 at the end of this night. It is the Next2Nu side, and the Breakers are probably the strongest team on this organization. And they're proving to you why they won that Proving Grounds tournament. 0-1 was not involved in that tournament. Maybe you could have learned a thing or two from it, because they're getting mopped right now on this stage. It is not close. It is not something they want to look at here, but they still have enough time left in the series that if they can pick up the pace, pick up the quality, this could be an immense change for them. We'll be going to game 3, still knowing that Next2Nu Breakers have a chance to take the series here. In the 0-1 side, they need to take risks. We just aren't seeing that from them. And they're sitting back far too much. They're playing far too safe to really be viable against many teams in this tournament. Next2Nu Breakers are going to be one of the better ones here. Definitely going to teach the 0-1 side a lesson as retro. Save by Yukon, already seeing maybe a little change from 0-1, setting both players upfield. That shot just kept away as now gets Jackson. Oh, he's going to go for that sidewall pinch, and he'll keep the ball there. Next2Nu Breakers showing a little bit of mechanics, a little bit of flair here as Siege. Flip reset. Try to get the fake under. Gets, just saw him there. Delayed it. Go for the wave dash catch, but he'll get nothing on it as now. What pre-jump shot there from Jackson won't happen. Destiny. Gonna keep this in the corner. Next2Nu Breakers will send this ball away. Gets back in by Jackson. Destiny now. Retro already up. Here he goes. Down to Destiny. Now over to Gets. The passing. Connecting. Oh, but Siege will save it with a little help from the crossbar. Next2Nu Breakers keep this game clean for them. And look at this from 0-1. So much more aggressive. So much more of a, of taking chances, of sending players upfield. And look at the difference it's making here on offense. More willing to play aggressive, to take their chances, and just seeing them get better opportunities in front of that net because of it. The Breakers maybe expecting them to roll over. That is far from the case here if 0-1 continues to play like this. Will be Jackson, demoed away by Destiny. Siege getting the dunk on Gets, although Gets will still win it. It will be the Breakers who have to just send this ball away as Destiny in the midfield is Gets. Still going for it as Gets. A second touch will look to set up Retro, but Yukon won't let him pass. It was Yukon whose defense has really been able to be that hallmark of this Breakers backline. So often you hear about defense winning championships. While he wasn't named the MVP, his work when they won that Proving Grounds cannot be understated. A solid defensive backbone for this Next2Nu Breakers team. He really allows Jackson and Siege to find a lot more space to go for what they want to do. Many teams need those kind of players to allow the rest of their team to be successful. So far, Next2Nu Breakers have not found that much success in this game. They haven't even found that much on offense, but UConn, a fake! And that's gonna fall in for Siege. Maybe I spoke a little too soon, because the Breakers, as soon as I said that, they'll put one in. I said UConn. So much of the work comes on him. I think that's a perfect display of how he's been, how his playstyle works. He just doesn't get stated all that much. He's not the one on the score sheet all that often. He always does the dirty work for the Breakers. Really allows them to be successful. That glue, you could call, to the rest of this roster. As now, UConn again, having to head back as it's Destiny now. Ending for the net, but Zero2One won't find it a chance all that easily here. The Breakers continuing to challenge feverishly in that midfield line. Well, again, Zero2One have done better at getting pressure. It still feels like, again, there hasn't been enough from them. It feels like a team that hasn't thrown everything at that net, hasn't given it at all, and you're seeing the difference here. The Breakers are sending people up, and they're getting rewarded. As UConn will get the goal that he so vitally deserves in this game. As Siege will send it up for his assist. The Breakers now staring down potential of a 3-0 sweep against Zero2One. Zero2One still have time to respond as Destiny nearly broke through both defenders with a 50-50 challenge. Won't happen as Next2Nu Breakers at this point. Maybe trying to play a bit more of the time waste game you saw at the end of last game. It was a 2-0. Oh, it's a big miss there! Oh dear! The miscommunication! And that's not something you see often at this level. Siege must have thought UConn had it, and I think UConn expected himself to have it too. But the backflip out of nowhere, that's going to make things a lot tougher for them. And the Breakers giving a goal here to Zero2One. Only the second as his team has scored this series. Again, Zero2One's offense has just not been all that successful. Nice thing is, again, they can turn it around this game. And I mean, what better time to do it than to do it in Game 3 when your backs are against the wall, when the series is against you. But they haven't been able to break through all that easily. Again, their only goal coming off that mistake. As here's another chance. Jackson will get to it off of an awkward first jump. Zero2One still having this one. Should be a goal for Destiny. It will be. The space was given, and Zero2One will take it. That's just great positioning. Destiny recognizing that nobody on Next2Nu Breakers is actually willing to challenge that. A shot there is probably the last thing that you want to do. Now the Breakers, potential of a game loss against them as a kickoff. Zero2One went for the double kickoff here. Both players playing up insanely aggressively. Gets bumped Destiny into that assist as well, which is quite unique. But hey, why not do something a little bit unorthodox in the kickoff to take the lead? As for the Breakers, this might be a wake-up call for them. This series is far from over. As UConn looking for the net. Saved by Zero2One, but multiple players jump for it. Their backline not fully secured here as UConn again saved by Retro. And there was a team bump from Destiny. Getch has got to wait back here. And that means it's more for Next2Nu. Jackson, Siege, saved by Getz. Less than 30 seconds left, but look at this attack. Gets the save. Siege couldn't put it on target. Breakers still go for it. As Jackson. Siege now off the corner. The Breakers, less than 10 seconds left. They're gonna tie this game up. And maybe they'll get it here. One more chance. Jackson keeps it high. Siege to go for it, but he'll be beat. And it will hit the ground. Zero2One will take their first game of the series. The Breakers was just... They didn't pay attention by the end of that game. I felt like they kind of fell asleep on this team a little bit. 3 straight goals from Zero2One. I mentioned how that offense of theirs just needs to wake up a little bit. And it has done that, but still not all that impressive from them. It still feels like for Zero2One that they are still not fully there. While sure they had those 3 goals, I feel like this game was really on the Breakers just not playing at that level that they should be playing at. Just kind of taking it up a little too easily. But maybe Zero2One can prove me wrong here in Game 4. They can continue to prove they can turn things around. so far. Again, it's been a surprisingly lethargic start for both these teams, but seeing them wake up, get better and faster and a lot more aggressive at it as time goes on. Going to game 4. Remind us, the best of 5 series. 0-1 wants to make that reverse sweep. Would be en route to do it here with how that game 3 has gone for them. But still, the question's up in the air, and we know the Breakers have played this series. They've been pretty solid overall, and even last game it felt like they were the better team for the vast majority of it. Just again, those moments of just not paying attention. Taking their eye off the ball, it was not that much time either. So all 0-1 needs is just a little bit of an opening. All teams at this level really need is a little bit of an opening. And they're going to find many chances to go in. And be consistent at this level. A lack of it, will it be your downfall? 0-1. Again, take advantage of a lack of attention there from Next2Nu. Here goes Jackson. Great play. Maybe a double tap. Won't get it. UConn. Oh, that needs to go on. UConn shot. That's about as clean as a chance it gets. Jackson created the opportunity perfectly for him. The Breakers really would have loved that to be a shot on target. At least a goal. One as UConn nearly got it there off the dunk. It will go in the midfield. The dunk here. Giving space for 0-1 to attack, but nobody jumping. Jackson off the sidewall. Destiny beats both, but it won't be on target. And the Breakers now gotta reorganize themselves. This backline is not fully secured. 0-1. Can't take much out of it. Breakers already back in position and already back to the usual tricks of challenging that midfield. As actually nobody there for that play, and that net's wide open. And Retro's going to take it. The Breakers again are just not paying attention. And just far too hesitant. Somebody's got to go for that ball. Siege really looked like he was the one that really was closer to it. Just not paying attention on the back line. The Breakers taking their eye off the play. That's the 0-1 taking full advantage of the fact that the Breakers are doing that. The Breakers, that negative momentum, they can turn it around here. Gets. Reset will not use it, instead just leaves it for Retro to send the ball away as the Breakers now upfield. Snee will send it back, and it's Next2Nu who are looking to be next to score. They're not going to get many chances if they're waiting in the midfield for them to assure themselves. Again, it's all about taking chances, not about waiting for them. Zero to 1. They can hold this one goal lead with how they've been playing. Next2Nu Breakers, I have to think that they would know that. Being as good of a team as they are. A lot of this is going to come down to how the Breakers and 0-1, playing how really the Breakers can shape themselves back up. For a team that had a series in their hands, Game 3 felt like them taking their eye off the play, and now Game 4 feels like the punishment for taking their eye off the play in Game 3. No goals as of yet for the Breakers as 0-1. Slowing this game down here and wasting time for the Breakers, a 1-goal lead. All the Breakers need is one chance, but they aren't really getting that at all with how they're getting these plays. They're just sending the ball upfield, hoping for, again, the opportunities to create themselves. Just can't rely on other teams to give you those plays. It just won't happen at this level. As Gets now off the ceiling, saved by UConn. 0-1 look to continue their attack, but won't get through there. Destiny now at the dunk. Retro, a chance to actually put this one on target, but he'll go high. 0-1 will not have an early response. Guess what? Not that much time left. 0-1 have done an excellent job at preventing the Breakers from actually getting upfield. As now an infield pass saved by Jackson. The Breakers, I think, if they get scored on at all in this game, this will end it. They will not have a chance of winning. The offense has just been so non-existent. 2 goals just seems like an impossibility for them. It feels like 1 goal may not even be possible for them, but again, how slow they've been playing. Do you know, again, all they need is a breakthrough opportunity, and that will be all they need. Is Jackson saved by Retro. And the Breakers now some space up field, finally in that final third, as Siege will shoot. Kept away by Getz. A demo from the Breakers, looking to open up room, but not getting much of anything. As Yukon, the dribble, now the pinch will kept away by Destiny. And it will be Jackson dunked away as 0-1 will look to try to take game 4. Send this series to game 5. Definitely not an impossibility again, as I said already. Breakers are running out of time here, and Utopia Coliseum to take the series. Siege now. Upfield is Yukon. Oh, why'd he pass that? He had a net in front of him to look at. He went for the pass instead, and it's going to just waste time off the clock. The Breakers still a chance, but they're not breaking through. And it will be Destiny to send that ball away. And Next2Nu Breakers just a bit too slow this game. Still, though, maybe one more chance as Yukon kept away by Destiny, and we're going to Champions Field. 0-1. Took their time. All they needed was one goal. That's all they needed. And their defense did the rest of the work for them. Game 5. Champions Field. Potential for a reverse sweep here from 0-1. One of these teams is going to have a 2-1 record after this. Again, you'd think it would be the Breakers with, you know, the advantage they have, but obviously aren't using it very wisely here because they're the ones finding themselves at an issue. We go to game number 5, a final part of this series. And for Next2Nu Breakers being the favorites, they've now got to prevent a reverse sweep. This is their third and final chance to take the series. For 0-1. They'll only get one chance, but the momentum is on their side. Again, with how they've been playing, their defensive style actually could really work well in this part, especially if they score first. 0-1's defense has been tough to really be able to beat it. You saw last game how few shots the Breakers had. I don't think we're gonna, and I don't know if we're gonna see a difference in that here, as Breakers are getting some early offense, but again, it's not very threatening here. 0-1, not having too many issues to get to it. The more time they spend back here, the more time that the Breakers could have to score, and you just don't want to give them that space for free. As keep going upfield here. Retro. And up free is Yukon. Flip reset. Trying to get it there. But he won't get the touch under the 0-1 defenders. And it will be Next2Nu Breakers still waiting for it. As Siege. Retro. Up to net. Destiny will go for it though. And it'll be a challenge away. But that's not actually going in front of the net. Siege will keep it out. 0-1. Really utilizing this corner a lot. Just setting it up the back wall. They're waiting for that mistake. They're waiting for the Breakers to whiff on one of these. Again, how good these teams are, whiffs aren't coming easily. You've got to make your own chances here, and I just think the demos might be the best way to do it. We've seen 0-1 and the Breakers both utilize demos so well this series. And it feels like that could be the real breakthrough they need, as shot play from Yukon will not work. Breakers still sitting, but Yukon to shoot this one. Destiny will keep it away off the corner. And a bad touch. Siege, low boost, bin. Oh, what a save. Follow up from Retro. That's finding the net. And it's 0-1 with a 1-goal lead. Siege just enough to get back, but he won't be able to prevent that follow up from Retro. 0-1. As Chad has eloquently stated, composed in this matchup. On Champions Field, I couldn't agree more. Such a calm demeanor about this side in this matchup. Well, I may not be happy with the pace that they're playing at. I think it's a bit too slow. They definitely have the mentality that works, but you see there again, just a bit too slow at times. And this is one of those as, well, they've got to challenge that a little bit better. Next2Nu Breakers will tie the game at 1 halfway through. It's 0-1 now. Oh, they've played well. Still have a lot more to do here. Half the game left. 0-1 again on the verge, trying to make a reverse sweep. The Breakers want to prevent that. Who know that their offense can break through more easily. 0-1 in that driver's seat right now. They're the ones that are controlling this game a lot more. Breakers, it feels like they're sitting back a lot further. Again, while Yukon has been a savior for them at times. Again, you can't rely on defense for the entirety of a series, as now, maybe their chance on offense, Yukon! But it's Destiny to get there. To deal with the bump in the first place. The Breakers nearly found the chance they needed. They'll look for another one, though. Jackson, sidewall, second touch. Will Siege was waiting for it, but he won't get any reception from that pass. As now, infield, Destiny will prevent Yukon from shooting. And will allow 0-1 some space upfield. These players just waiting on in the midfield. The Breakers, and they went to Game 5 against Lotus 8, could not get the win there. And 0-1, they're in a very similar position where they may not take this series. It does feel like in many ways the pressure is on them. And they already had a ton of pressure on them after winning the Proving Grounds tournament, so you could sense that might be a factor into this matchup. So far, it is 0-1. I think defense, but again, so patient. They're so calm about every play they're making. They're just waiting for that breakthrough chance that Next2Nu Breakers will give to them. And maybe this is it. Retro, kept away by Yukon. Gets now. Going towards net, but Yukon again will be there to clear, and 0-1 just popping this ball to the back wall, waiting for the error, but it won't come from Next2Nu. They're playing just as well. It feels like both these teams waiting for the chances, but they can't break through so easily. There's always a player back, and without the demos being all that utilized, it's going to be tough for either team to really get good chances and get good shots, because these nets are packed to the brim with defenders. But here's a chance. Retro, that one off the crossbar. 0-1 will still wait. Maybe one more chance to take the series. Gets dunked away. We'll go to overtime. For our first and last time in the series. 0-1 on the verge of a reverse sweep. Next2Nu Breakers have potential to prove that the Proving Grounds is not the only tournament that they'll be strong in, that they deserve this spot here. But 0-1 are the ones bringing the pressure. Jackson will stop them in the midfield. Destiny, Siege around the back wall now. In front for Jackson. Gets will keep it away. And here goes Destiny. Stopped by Yukon. Retro. Up goes 0-1. As they'll wait for the chance, but the Breakers not so nice. As a dunk! Is that one? Oh, I didn't know if Jackson would get there or not, but he gets just enough on it. The Breakers will keep the overtime going, will keep the series going, and now an overcommit! Cost 0-1! It's Yukon with the series winner! As it was Retro, who pushed up far too high. It's what cost Game 1 for 0-1. It will be what costs Game 5 and the series. Next2Nu Breakers take the match. It was not a pretty win. They definitely didn't play as well as maybe they wanted to. It was Yukon who stepped up for this team by the end of the matchup. Game 5, preventing that reverse sweep from happening. It is Next2Nu Breakers who will have a 2-1 record in their season. What a match this is for the Cyclone Cup. I started off a bit slow, but by the end of it, it was one of those matches where you love to see what happens next. Again, it is Next2Nu who will take that match. Again, I am very impressed with how they played that series. It was maybe one of those things where you felt like, you know, there was more coming from these sides, more that they could offer. Again, it was just consistent. Both these teams definitely kept their calm, which is no easy feat in a match like this. So, again, what a match it is. We're going to get Siege to join us here for a quick little post-game presser. A 3-2 victory over 0-1. It was not a pretty series for you guys. It was definitely not one where you guys played your best, but you take the win. That's really all that matters. I have a feeling after that game 5. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Siege? Siege. Um,
The loss we had that turned the series around, which
Siege?
one of the goals was an unlucky miscommunication on our part.
I accidentally muted you there. Whoops.
Oh,
That's what I was trying to tell you there. Hey, is it okay if you repeat your answer there for just a little bit?
yeah, no,
Yeah,
we're good, we're good.
I do this all the time, by the way, so you're not even close to the
You're
first person
fine,
who's
you're
done that.
fine. Just saying, it was. I'm glad we got the dub at the end of the day, but I will say it was very frustrating after the second game how we lost to like a 1-0 game, very close. Just we had a lot of opportunities, just couldn't capitalize on any, and made us even more like just frustrated as well. And like the first loss we had, where one of the goals was essentially just a miscomm, and it was just downhill from there.
Hey, you gotta tell me about that, because again, it was 0-1 who was looking to make that, comeback, was looking to make that reverse sweep. For you guys, those first 2 games, I felt like I felt like you guys were confident, and kind of things fell apart. And you said it was a team just issue. You can you go a little bit more in depth on what happened, later on in that series, because that was quite surprising.
I have a feeling we just got in our comfort zone, and I'm pretty sure the other team knew that, and so they were desperate for a win. They needed to do whatever it takes to not give us those opportunities. So I'm assuming that they played much faster in the latter half of the series, and playing much faster, they just got in our faces, and it kind of just disrupted things on our side, and we didn't really know how to like adapt to that until maybe the last game.
Yeah, as you said again, but I know you had Coach Brazane in there as well. So, with Brazane, was he a factor into how you got and how you guys took that game 5 so often at your level? Coaches aren't there for gameplay reasons. They're there for a lot. They're there for a lot of other factors. And tell me about kind of about the mental factor that he must have had to help you guys out here in this matchup. Was there a did he help you guys mentally in that series and for you guys to come back?
He definitely did. I would say near towards like the fourth and fifth game, he was just telling us that they are playing aggressive. We need to change something to that. We need to block their passes because they're going for a lot more passing plays, being more confident on the ball, just not giving us like as much space as earlier in the series. So he was definitely telling us like take a deep breath, relax, calm down, just play your game, and I thank him for that because that probably led us to the win.
Of course, a 2-1 record now against in your season. Your only loss being to Lotus 8 Esports. So I'm sure you guys will be happy to finally get a win that isn't a forfeit win as well. Your last one was a forfeit win over Rick Roller. So now next week you get to take on Nola Flight. That's another scary team. That's another one of our top teams in this tournament. So Nola Flight. That's a team that's got a ton of accolades. What are you guys gonna do to prepare? Because I can tell you, they at least on paper are a scarier team than 0-1. Although I don't know how much different they are. So what are you guys gonna do? Because that team is one that will play confidently against you no matter what happens.
Well, I guess I can be saying this now, but we will be switching rosters next week in the future weeks because of conflicts on our end. So I will have two other teammates joining me, and we've been training together, doing some scrims for the past weeks or so. So I guess this is a mystery for them. They can't study our gameplay, and we'll just see how it goes.
Oh, can we? We'll do that one, and I see we've got a little bit of a roster news coming in from Next2Nu Breakers. But again, congratulations on your win though tonight, Siege. Good luck with that new roster next week against Nola Flight. But for now, have a great rest of your evening, and hopefully we'll see you again soon on this stream.
Yep, you too. Good night.
So Siege there of Next2Nu Breakers, a 3-1 win uh over 0-1. Our upcoming match will be for the Blackline Championship Series. It will be Team Ignition, New Age, Demon Hounds, another best of 5. But again, that's going to be for who will be eliminated out of the contender series and who will move on. We're actually gonna go to we're actually gonna turn off the stream. We'll be going offline for a little bit, but when we come back, that will be the series on this channel. But again, what a match it was! It was an exciting matchup, definitely. But we're gonna get a little raid in. We'll end the night off here. We'll end at least this night off here for now. But we'll live again later tonight with New Age Demon House Team Edition. We'll see you guys very, very soon. So stick around for more.